Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Just Enough Heshy show. I'm putting my headset on the phone.
Boy,
I don't know. Yeah, wow,
because
it's very
doesn't
loud.
get any worse each
No,
week.
I have programming live. Hello, my Instagram fans. Hello, my YouTube fans. Hello, my who's the other fans that we have? Facebook fans. And of course,
Instagram.
our 3 live channels are coming on in a couple minutes. We even have a live camera this week in the show that is going to show me how handsome. Well, I am good looking. You know that, Tom?
I didn't know that now until just now.
I'm very upset with you, Tom. How could you not know
I'm
that?
fired?
I want you to know, Tom, that this week I went to a wedding of my brother. I went for the weekend party. Mm-hmm. And they kept this, usually you go for a little celebration. The kid's getting married on Monday. You have a little family dinner together. My brother invited for the weekend about 600 guests.
Wow.
I'm not finished. He didn't just make it an event. Friday night, we sat there from like 6:30 to like 1 in the morning. Then the next morning, we started like 8:15 and went to like 3 in the afternoon. Got a 2-hour break. Went from 6 o'clock in the afternoon to like 9:30 in the evening. I'm not finished. Then the next day, we had the wedding. The wedding didn't end till 2 in the morning. I, not like my son and the rest of them, get up at 11, 12 in the afternoon like you, Tom. I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning. It went to another wedding, and then I went to my cousin's wedding, who made even a bigger, I promise you, he spent $500,000. At the wedding, there was 1,000 people last night at that wedding. The meal was so good that if you didn't sit in the right seat, the usher, there was like about at least 50 waiters. The usher made you move seats. I told him, my name is Heshy, I'm not moving seats.
So it was better than the meals you had a few weeks ago at that big thing you went to up there in Rockland County.
I can't hear you. You got to talk into the mic.
I said it was...
Come on. Yeah, the big thing in Rockland County, yes. I don't like Rockland County anyway. I do like it. I'm joking with you. I hope I have fans out there, by the way.
What a way to argue with our audience there, Heshy.
Anyways, but it was very interesting weekend, and here it is, guys. I'm so exhausted. We're still having the show. I had to go to a bris. I had to go to another bris tomorrow morning, the circumcision of the boys. Yes. And I have one more event this week, and then I thought I'd take off for the weekend, but thank God my beautiful wife, Linda, reminded me that Saturday's my 33rd wedding anniversary. So, I didn't buy flowers, but last night's wedding was so fancy. They had these big flower pots, and I stole one. I didn't steal one. I thought they'd give them away, I found out later they really costed a couple $100. Linda loved it. I told her I bought it, but she knew I was lying.
Well, happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. Number 33. So for this weekend, me and Linda are going to stay at home because Sunday we have another event, a bar mitzvah. So me and Linda are going to take Saturday off. We're going to go for a walk, and I'm going to make her a beautiful dinner. And I'm going to buy her, instead of 5 lotto tickets and flowers, I'm going to buy her 10 lotto tickets.
Are we cooking those famous chicken cutlets that you always...
No, not chicken cutlets. This time I'm doing fried chicken, the real legs. I'm making the whole chicken. I'm putting even, not butter, margarine on it.
Wow.
I hand wash it with the butter. I do my spices. I'm telling you, I'm getting better and better.
Sounds like Just Enough Cooking instead of Just Enough Heshy. We should have you replace Julia Child all those years ago.
No. I'm just a regular guy, but my cooking is great. Anyways, we want to welcome, and how many seconds do we have left to welcome those people?
18 seconds.
18 seconds. I got to stall the crowd. We're going to have my wonderful joke and quote again today. We're supposed to have our co-host, Devoa, but she didn't talk last week. I know people didn't notice that she's not here because she didn't talk, but she's not here yet.
The ratings certainly speak for that, I guess.
That's right. You and me are never late. You know that?
Well, we try to be here, but speaking of time, I want to welcome our new stations, our stations that have been here with us. WSNR 620, my personal favorite, 1640 WJPR, and of course, can never forget 93.5 WVIP-FM. Good evening to you.
Good evening, our listeners. I thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to have an interesting show tonight. I want to still, and most importantly, my friend, Sergeant Peter, I want to give you a shout out, my beautiful granddaughter
Mira Nava, my favorite part of the show.
Yes, Layla Tamar, and of course my grandson Yeshua, and of course Ellie. Don't forget, I know Ellie. I never forget you, and I'm always going to remember you. You're a good man. We're going to start the show with my joke and quote, but we have so much to talk about. So much to talk about with Trump. I'm still upset about that. The migrants, New York is getting worse.
Oh my God.
The migrants now are pushing people into the train and committing crimes. The cops are losing it completely. One cop today I was reading, did you see that in Queens? He got angry. He started fighting with two guys, so he called backup, and he's an off-duty cop. So he took out his gun on the street and pointed it at two brothers. Of course, the brothers are going to get angry, and they fought back and they attacked him. You understand? We don't arrest people for robbing. There was a video of a bunch of guys who need coats. They went into a store, 10 of them. They grabbed all the coats in one shot and ran out. Hey, it's wintertime. Nobody stopped them. No cops, no nothing. Here, a cop had an argument on the street. He took out his gun, held it there. Of course, these guys are angry. They fought back. The cop's gun went off twice, shooting the kid in the leg and whatever. And the cop is okay. And they arrested the guys. You can't take out a gun on stupidity. Take out the gun when they're robbing, shooting, raping, and killing. But they take out a gun when it's easy. And I'm very angry at this police officer.
You can't fix stupid.
And they think that this officer is a hero. He's not a hero. You have a fight on driving. Drive away. You're supposed to learn. You're supposed to know better than that. But they scream at me. I don't know. Anyways, there's so much more in New York City. We're going to talk about the migrants.
Yep.
I want you to know, Mr. Adams is, and this is research. I have been finding this out. The 8 billion or 12 billion, because they're fighting about. No, I know he's saying 12, but right now they are taking. Nothing is free. Yes. I didn't even know that. I thought COVID, those food programs are free. No, most of them went partnership with 501c. That is tax-free organizations. So you can open up your own 501c. It takes a few months. They then build a city, and the city pays them, and then you can share it. Usually a guy who doesn't have it or wants it gives you 10% of the profits, and he keeps 90% and bills it through you. There's $8 billion. There are people, there are contractors feeding the migrants. If you would have watched my video, they're getting $100,000 a week. I know personally of 20 different companies. Anyways.
It pays to be a migrant.
It does. Not a migrant. It pays to be a migrant and people billing the city for it. They're going to be cleaning up. One guy has 1,000 apartments that he rents out approximately between 15 and 2,100. Maybe he makes about, maybe about $1.5 million, $2 million a year, and half of it goes to expenses. He's going to bill out this year $20 million plus do a food program and make another,
I was even reading
3 or 4 million.
I was reading this morning even warehouses. Now, there was an article in the city talking about all in North Brooklyn that there's migrants in all these warehouses. Can you imagine the property owners there who own those?
Sleeping in warehouses like dogs. Me, if I have to build a small little sukkah extension, this week the DOB is attacking my people. One Inspector Corbin, this is a vicious pig. He's an Irishman. He claims he married. I hate him. I hate you, Inspector Corbin. And I keep beating him, and I'm going to keep beating you. This inspector.
We should have him call in.
And he went. I wish he would call in. And he went to a site and told this Jewish boy, "I'm going to come back till I get you." What the hell's wrong with him? What the hell's wrong with him?
Hopefully Lenny can set him straight.
Yeah, right? Lenny, where are you?
Lenny's here. I want to say hello to a few people. Our usuals, Anthony Finkel, Josh Bailey, Lenny. Also here, Black Beauty, Samsung J3. And I think my mother might be listening right now, so I want to say hello to her as well.
Oh, really? Oh,
I
wow.
think so.
Yeah, I never met your mother.
You haven't asked.
Well, she hasn't. Staten Island hasn't seen yet from the city. We're going to talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
Anyways, this quote for this week is to nobody but Linda. Okay? I'm sorry, it is my 33rd anniversary, and I want you to all learn from this quote. True love stories never have endings. Simple. Now, I'm not telling you that ours is a true love story. What I'm telling you is we're trying to make it into a love story, and we never want an ending. Now, I know people have to get divorced or have issues or problems. But I'm telling you now that I'm trying never to have an ending. Every single day I wake up not to have an ending, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished in 33 years of building our family. I have one of our team members, George. I don't know if he lets me say his name, but George he likes Linda. And he wants to have Linda be part of their campaign. And I said, Linda, it does enough for me, running around. And she does take pictures and videos.
Is he implying he wants Linda on the ballot instead of you?
I think so. I think George is not getting enough money yet. So
no comment on that.
I know that. I know. Anyways, here's my joke of the day. I want you to know, I think it's very funny. I thought we'd have some more guests to laugh at it. So you Instagram people, please comment on it. Is anybody watching us on Instagram?
Yeah, we have some people there.
Good.
Several, actually.
Okay, good. So here's my thing. Linda asked me not to make a joke of her, but I will do that anyways. My assistant, Evie, went on vacation. and she took a 2-week vacation, and I need somebody to answer just the phones, at least that much. So I hired this young temporary worker. His name is Brad for the last 2-3 weeks. Young guy. And he comes running into my office and says, "Boss, I think you wanted on the phone, sir." I said, "What do you mean you think?" He says, "Well, when I answered the phone, some guy says, 'You old fool.'"
It was a good one.
Okay, good.
It was
You know,
good. I thought it was
young
funny.
little pisher thing.
Young, he's talking about the age, yeah.
Okay.
Almost implying you were a dinosaur.
I know. So anyways, I didn't think that was that great, so I decided to make a joke with Linda. Me and Linda were sitting by this event over the weekend, and we had cousins, nephews, talking. I would say at least 50 nephews and nieces were there. Cousins came, friends came. So 2 of my little nephew and niece came over, brother, sister, and they were talking to Linda, and I was sitting there quietly, and Linda says to my 5-year-old niece, Sarah, she says, "When you grow up, what are you going to do when you get married?" She says, "I'm going to have 10 babies when I grow up." So Linda replied, "Wow." And then she says, "That's a lot of babies." And then she looks at my nephew, Mordechai, and she says, "How many babies are you going to have?" He says, "None." And we both looked at him and says, "What does that mean?" He says, "My wife is going to have all the babies." I love that kid.
I think that's the best one on the show I've heard so far.
Really? I can't believe it.
That was a good one.
Okay,
That
good.
was a good one.
And it just happened this weekend. I thought it was very cute. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's start our show.
Okay.
Whether DeVoe is here or not, let's start our show.
All right.
I sent a video today of just a 10-second video. It's all I did. I thought it would speak for itself. I posted it on all my social media sites. They have food on the outside. Remember the soup kitchens? You saw the pictures as a kid. You know,
Yep.
I was fighting with Tom this week. Tom is telling me Tom is a big movie fan and Maven. He thinks he's better than me. I've been watching movies since the 60s. I watched all the movies from the 20s and the 30s. I love some of the silent stuff.
Are you saying you were around in the 20s and the 30s?
I wasn't around, but I was way back then when they were when we only had 3 channels.
and
That was
Hardy,
all
yep,
that was
sure.
on. Laurel and Hardy. Abbott and Costello is
Yep.
my favorite.
Yep.
Okay, you still only like one of the Abbott Costellos, but I liked all of his movies. Fred Astaire.
Yep.
I just liked all of them, and John Wayne, and so Clint Eastwood, because that's all we had. So me and him are talking. He didn't even know half of the movies, and whatever. I'm much better than you in that, but he didn't think I can keep up with today's movies, and I keep up with today's movies either.
You did know some of today's movies. I will say we had a conversation. You were able to at least carry your own
Okay,
conversation.
but I want you to know that in the olden days, in the 20s and 30s, you'll see from a lot of the old-time movies and clips, there were soup kitchens, bread lines, people standing on line during the Depression, starving, waiting for a piece of bread or a bowl of soup, and so on. I sent you a video today of at least maybe about 300 or 400 migrants standing on the street, and they set up like tables on the street. Not in the house, not in a building, not in a store, on the street like dogs and animals, like a prison, and they're feeding you, and the people are so happy. Now, Mayor Adams, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, I don't know if you saw my heading this week, but it's just like he has no idea what's going on, and he's fighting with the governor. And I ask you this. This is a question for you. Okay. Why New York? You have 57 other counties. She says, you're a stupid governor, that we can't put him in the other counties because that's not the deal we made. What do you mean a deal? What deal did we make?
So I'm going to answer that for you very simply.
Please.
The governor doesn't want to face her constituency that already voted against her, and she is the leader of her party, and her party wants to take back Congress next year. And in a lot of these counties where Adams would like to place these migrants are in places that are considered to be battleground districts. So basically the governor is basically making a political calculation against the state and the people here in New York City, and that's as to why she doesn't want those migrants in the Hudson Valley, Rockland County.
So you're screwing New York because New York is going to give in to every stupid idiocracy, and the rest of the state can have a good life while we suffer, while we get stabbed,
She claimed
robbed.
that they shouldn't be in a hotel because it's lonely there, it's dark. But the truth is that the Democrats want to take back the House, and they want to take back the House through New York in places like a lot of them in upstate, the Hudson Valley.
Wow.
And that's where Adams would like to put these migrants. But the fact of the matter is, to answer your question, Adams should never have accepted all these people when
Right,
he
he
said
thought it was a joke.
He said with open arms, yeah, come in here, come in here. He didn't realize he was going to have 100,000. He's really the problem at the end of the day because it's his idiocracy when Abbott and all these other governors turned around and said, okay, we're not going to take them anymore. And he gladly said, I'll take them. And that's why New York has been the bearer of all these problems.
It's crazy. New York has nothing to do. We're not near a border, and we have all the migrants.
And I got news for you. It's only going to get worse. They're talking about this place and that place. We were talking about the other day. Could be Fort Hamilton next. The Armory in Staten Island. Floyd Bennett Field has been the political football that everybody's been talking about here in Brooklyn.
And I have a couple of people that spoke to me that said that they're going to have open land and they want to set up tents. It's better than the migrants sleeping on the floor on 4th Avenue in the open rain.
Give them 60 days from now. This is the 60-day rule. I wouldn't count on it, Heshy.
I don't think that...
Who's talking over there? I don't know who's talking over there. Somebody thinks he's talking in the control booth. You know who's talking? It's a new producer. He's a plumber. He's not the smartest guy on the planet. We don't want to think what you're thinking. The only thing I want to think is what... I'm joking with you. The plumber is very smart. He doesn't think. That's his problem. What is he thinking?
Are you saying he doesn't think like Mayor Adams?
Right. Well, you know what? I'm not sure. Oh, hello? A plumber? Are you there? Now he's not talking all of a sudden. Plumber?
So the point is...
I'm here.
So what do you think again? The migrants are good or not good?
No, so I'll tell you this much.
Don't talk like Lenny. Just tell us yes or no.
Can you let me make my point?
No. It's how we should. Does he not understand it's a Just Enough Heshy show?
This is getting interesting here. Let's...
Okay, quickly. What is your quick opinion?
My quick opinion is that Staten Island has a lot of issues.
What's Staten Island? Am I talking about Staten
You were
Island?
talking about the whole state, actually,
I know that.
just now.
Staten Island has a big issue because there's a lot of demonstrations going on.
Yep.
So I think that Staten Island is a little bit different than any other boroughs.
Okay, we have demonstrations all over. You know that? You saw the demonstration at Gracie Mansion, Tom?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I
and
watched
they
the whole
arrested
thing.
him. Now, what I don't understand is it was a peaceful demonstration.
Right.
They had like a few idiot counter demonstrators.
Antifa, yep.
Antifa, and they purposely hit. And do you know that they're all free? No bail, no major. Yeah, they arrested Curtis and they let him go.
And meanwhile,
and they're going to drop the charges.
Meanwhile, at the Staten Island one, as the new producer pointed out, they actually had 100 police there that were stationed, I believe, the second day of the rallies there. And they actually had the commanding officer there of Staten Island push State Senator Andrew Landis. So it tells you that in Manhattan, we see the police doing one thing, and then in the Staten Island rallies, they're doing another.
Yeah, but my point is look, first of all, there's not even a few hundred people coming. Even if there's 1,000 showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You know nothing's going to happen. The mayor's laughing at you. You know that there's going to be counter-protesters. We need a better suggestion.
Tomorrow, there's a protest actually at Foley Square. Basically, it's a Democratic protest.
Foley Square.
Foley Square is in Manhattan. It's in downtown Manhattan. Now, it's a quote-unquote Democratic protest where basically they're trying to have a protest to say that we should have, job expediency and, grant visas. It's basically a Democratic Party organized by Adams.
Well, I went to a protest at King's Plaza over there.
Not Floyd Bennett Field.
It wasn't Floyd Bennett Field. It
by Toys R Us, right?
By Toys R Us.
On Flatbush Avenue.
And Curtis was there. And
yes.
The Democratic leader, what's his name?
Frank Sedio.
I met Frank Sedio really
Williams.
for the first time. And you know what? He was pretty cool. He came to the demonstration. He spoke to me. He gave me his card. He spoke like a man, and he was pretty cool. Basically, he was level-headed, and he's not happy with this situation.
No, Frank is a legend. He's a legend whether you like him or not. He's a legend in Brooklyn politics. Frank Sedio is done it all. I mean, he's really somebody.
I was I wasn't ever too sure of him, but
Yep.
when I met him and spoke, you see, sometimes one of my people who are on my team are saying, "Well, Heshy, we have to soften you up. We have to show the people who you are. You don't have to show them who I am. See, I don't want to be a faker to you. Oh, Heshy, calm down. I don't want to calm down. I want to tell you, come meet me, come talk to me. A lot of the people at the event on Friday night where that was all coming over pictures and she's funny, you know what I mean, joking with me. And then I got up to speak to the few hundred people, and my son was all nervous. You know, he says, "Oh, don't tell that crazy story." I said, "Of course I'm going to tell the story. I want you to know who I am. I want you to know who I am." You know, one of my favorite stories I tell, Tom, is that my father, after the end of the story, he said he saw the angels dance. You know, he saw it, whatever, and I keep repeating that I always want to do something so great, so powerful, that I want to see the angels dance. And you know what? I've realized after 33 years that really Linda's the angel, and I have seen her dance, and I have accomplished everything that I've ever wanted, and I'm hoping that I continue. Linda, thank you. Thank you for 33 good years.
Congratulations on that, Heshy. And November 7th, we have an opportunity for you to continue maybe some of that
November
work.
7th, guys, come on out.
And
come help me. We could use volunteers. We could use people.
16th
yeah.
The office,
You never told everybody the number they can call into the show.
646-974-1580. That's 646-974-1580. Give us a call.
I fixed the phone line, so if you call in, it will ring a couple times. Maybe the producer will pick you up finally.
I'd love to see some people like Josh Bailey call in, Anthony Finkel.
But now they could do it. And by the way, they deleted our number. Yesterday, I had to sit on the phone for 3 hours because our producer wouldn't do it, and I got the number back. I fixed the phone.
So George didn't do it because George, I feel.
No, I do everything myself. If you don't do it yourself, it doesn't get done. 646-974-1580. And I want you to know something, guys. You hear me complain about the migrants, not complaining about the migrants. People are calling me to say, "Heshy, I want to get in on the migrant money." I have no problem helping you, but here's my problem. My problem is, you're right. We need to fix the migrant problem, and I don't want them on the street, and I'll recommend you a way to bill for it. But it's not fair. You're overbilling the city. You're ripping us off. You're taking more than your fair share. Make some money, but not in the... I mean, this guy, just alone, these 20 people are billing out $100 million.
And it's only going to further.
Are you killing me?
Only going to further.
Just the food program alone that they're feeding, they're making $20 million.
And don't forget, winter is coming. Winter is coming. It's going to be a brutal winter in Manhattan.
And some people are going to die, and I don't know where the kids are. I don't know what they're doing with the kids.
Well, the big talk now is with the school system. School starts next week, and they're kind of in a crisis because they're expecting to get thousands of these, kids who are migrants to come into the school system, and the schools are going to be overcrowded.
By the way, I heard from Nicole Malitakis' videos, and I called the commentator office. She says the bill
Did they actually pick up?
But the bill for the illegal immigrants not being able to vote was not taken off the bill. They just stopped it.
It's in court. It goes to court in December.
So my problem is that bill can still happen now with 100,000 new voters that, well, of course, are going to vote the Democratic way.
And that's why, if you've noticed, Adams and Hochul the entire time, Heshy, have talked about getting the migrants here in some form of work to lead to voting.
Right, to give them a work...
a work visa, basically.
Right, this way but they need an address. How do you have no work address and have a work visa? Doesn't make sense.
It's the Democratic Party. They'll find the votes.
I know.
Look at your race, Heshy. 30 votes. We still talk about it. 30 votes.
I don't even know how he had those 30 votes.
I spoke to somebody today that was like, wow, I can't believe it.
It was 28, by the way.
Okay, 28. The fact of the matter is, it could be one vote or 30 votes. I spoke to somebody today anonymously, and they were like, wow, you know what? How did they find the votes?
I know. And did you see President Trump's lawyer this week?
Yes.
He went on television. You accused Trump of lying and accusing Georgia. The Attorney General is going after him. Local people are going after him, saying he lied about Georgia. This lawyer actually came on and said that he found 200,000, and he described them, 100,000 non-registered voters or dead voters, 18,000 that moved out of the town. He actually came up with 200,000 votes. So that is correct, that officially Trump would have won the state.
I even talked about it on last week's show. We had here in New York, and there was a state Senate race that was decided by this, where they were sending people out to absentee ballots. So there's no question that when you had this...
But if you could prove that Georgia's election was fraudulent, then all the Trump indictments go away.
Well, that's why they as in the Trump camp, as I'm glad you brought up Georgia, they want a venue change, and they want to postpone the date of the election. The reason they want to change the venue in Georgia, because the venue that they're in, Fulton County, is heavily Democrat.
Right.
So they know that already off the bat, they're not going to get a fair trial.
So they have to do that. They have to change the venue. Legally, I mean...
They're hoping.
Okay, it's not hoping. It's just that you'll see the system is just so corrupt. And so you guys all don't believe about the COVID fakeness of it. I hope it doesn't come back.
Oh, boy.
And I'm watching doctors tell us what's in the vaccine. I'm watching the COVID was a fake. The COVID is not a fake. All that stuff. So this week I watched a video of Tucker Carlson.
Okay.
You know, he was fired by Fox.
Yes.
For stupidity. He was really a great
Fox
guy.
has changed a little bit now.
Right. So Tucker Carlson was fired, and on his video he says he was supposed to go interview Putin before the war.
Okay.
And nobody knew about it. He did apply to go to Russia. His people knew, but they didn't know that he was going to get Putin. He didn't really officially get Putin, but he was working on it. He says somehow the NSA and the government found out about it and gave him a hard time or didn't let him go or somehow canceled something with him. He says nobody knew about it unless they were tapping into into his telephones and his private emails. He says it was impossible for them to know about it. How is that? Is that true? Is that now? I know you think I'm going to be crazy now, but I just have a private situation right now that I help a lot of people in trouble. Women that are thinking a kid thrown out of his school, trying to get him back in. So I do a lot of private stuff for people that you don't know about.
Okay.
I help people in trouble, people in jail.
Right.
I help people with money. I help people with their stores. Besides my regular job that I help people with, I did something to help a woman. I basically didn't help her. I gave her advice, and she came in for a video. Right. Nobody knew who she was. Nobody knew the source who brought it to me. Nobody knew it except for me and her.
Right.
The cops found her.
Boy.
I didn't even post the video. They saw the video. How is that possible unless they tapped into and I know they were listening to my phones. I know they're watching my videos. Now, Heshy, I know you're crazy, Heshy. You're a conspiracy. They're watching you. I don't care. Really, you think I care? I'm very careful. I've distributed my money.
After what you did during COVID, I don't think you'd care 2 iotas after what you did with those parks.
But they are listening in and they're doing illegal. So when I tell you they're taking away our freedom, when I'm telling you today that they're watching us, that if they want to get you, and that's what I'm doing. I'm making sure the light comes on me so they leave you alone. But they're going to come to you if they don't come after me.
But it's just like you brought up COVID just before, and here we go again. We spoke about this a month ago. Remember we spoke a month ago?
The Canada virus is coming.
Yeah, and now it's BA 286, and they're talking about it's in the water already, and we don't know when, and they're starting the games again. We spoke about this a month ago, and we talked about the fact that it was like on the hotels and in the ships and whatever it was, and and here we go again. And people looked at us a month ago and said, "Oh, here you go, this conspiracy." No, they're talking about, and Biden just came out 2 days ago, and talked about vaccines, and everybody should get the new vaccine. And
what's wrong with you guys? Go get the flu shot.
I do that all the
right, and people are dying. Now I understand maybe the virus is not corrupt or making you sick. I'm not knocking that. What I'm telling you now is not all of our bodies are the same. My body is strong. I was talking to a young girl today who came into my office that I helped out and made her expedited. She's doing very well. And she says, Heshy, you and I did the shot. She's losing weight. She looks great. She did the Ozempic.
Right.
She says, we can take anything. She says, her mother took the shot and got very sick. Her mother's only in her 50s. I said, and I'm 60. I said, not all of us are built the same. Some of us stand in the street. We stand in the cold. We stand in the garbage. You run around morning to night. So our bodies have been going through more training to deal with this garbage. The more delicate people like Linda got very sick.
You just don't know. It's just, it's luck of the draw. There was a wrestler that had passed away.
Luck of the draw, exactly.
There was a wrestler that had passed away last week at the age of 36. His name was Bray Wyatt, and some people had thought originally that he had got COVID and that maybe he got the COVID shot and that there was a bad reaction to it. Now, it wound up something else had happened, but you just never know. There are people that have got the shot and they turn out to be sick and you just don't know them. But that's why when Biden and all these Democrats talk about the fact that, we should take the vaccine and mask mandates, no. It's like Trump said today, we will not comply. He talked about never again should we go through that where we're going to face lockdowns, mandates, job losses. That key to New York City a few days ago,
right.
a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, people should not comply because it's starting
and you
again.
know, and just for your knowledge, during the last crisis or COVID shutdown, they raised your taxes by 18%. You don't even think for a moment that's not going to happen again. I know for a fact that Ina Vernikova is on some kind of a budget thing, and she's not voting no against raising our taxes again. You can't do this, Ina. I know you think you're playing with the Democrats and you want to be reelected till the day you die. You know, Ina.
Well, the Republican council members voted
Did I
first.
tell you
Yep.
Ina made a fake video? She was standing.
No, I didn't. What happened there?
She was doing a video on the street talking to somebody.
Oh, right.
And some guy came by and kissed her. And she says, "What the F?" Now, I thought I didn't think it was funny. Nobody should be going around doing that. I found out that this guy worked for Ina. Ina knew her. Now Ina is trying to get him arrested because he did it that she didn't know him, but she's lying.
Well, I heard she blocked a constituent or something about that. His constituent was on social media, and the constituent was, I guess, commenting, and she had the constituent blocked, and apparently it was in the New York newspapers here a few months ago, and apparently she is not allowed to do that by law because that goes back to the whole thing when Hyken, of course, your guy Hyken, got blocked by AOC years ago. So
I don't block anybody. The only time I block you on WhatsApp, I don't block you on Twitter or Facebook or anything. I do block you on WhatsApp. If you start calling me at 1 and 2 in the morning, like these young kids from these schools, you know, they act crazy, and their fathers are super rich, so they think they're spoiled little kids. They can do whatever they want, and we can call Heshy. It's funny because I give my number out to everybody. Anybody who wants to call me day or night, I'm there for you if you're in trouble. But don't abuse the privileges. And some of these kids whose parents don't take care of them, that's a problem. You know, a lot of the Jewish Syrian families, they don't take care of their kids. They let their kids run wild because they have money. And they give their kids money. They think it's a joke. Money does not solve the problem. I gave my kids money and I took away money. I gave allowances. I rewarded them.
listen, there's an
You have
old
to be
adage.
careful.
There's an old adage: if you give somebody $1 million and they spend $1 million, what did that do?
Right.
They have nothing left. So the adage is, money is almost like pouring kerosene onto a fire.
You have to teach somebody how to use the money and how to spend it
and
properly.
that just also goes back, just want to say real thing in a general point, not so much about Ina, but the Republican council members, quote unquote Republicans that we have in the city council. They voted for a budget that was over $100 billion and did nothing for their constituents, did nothing for anything particular. And then when you challenge them on that, they
all say they did. Ina, I'm not knocking only Ina, but I'm purposely knocking Ina.
the guy in Staten Island basically was calling Curtis a buffoon, a human traffic code, and you know, he was basically taking the same points about Eric Adams.
He wants, these Republicans are getting Democratic money by sitting over there.
And also they want to have careers afterwards. The Republican, listen, I know Lenny's out there, but the two Republicans in the city council, they're career politicians. They've been in government since.
What's her name again? Vicky Palladino.
Vicky Palladino's in Queens.
And I liked Vicky when she was running, and now she's kissing Kalman's behind because he's helping her.
And
Vicky,
she's not even campaigning.
You
You
promised to be different, Vicky. You promised to be different, so that's why people.
That's why don't change, Heshy. You know, I don't care who in your campaign says, yeah, do this differently. No, don't change, because everybody else, you know, Vicky, Ina, all these people that get in, they say, yeah, I'm going to be different.
You know, I like this guy who ran for assembly, Sam. What's his name again?
Pirizzolo, yes.
I liked him, and then I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's done. He's disappeared completely.
Because they get elected, and they feel that they have to play ball and get along. But the truth is, stay to your core beliefs.
Right. And I just want you to know, Ina and Kalman can't stop still to this day. They're putting up the cameras for congestive pricing. Congestive pricing, again, let me remind you, constituents, and all you little people on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. You can be a tourist. You can be a guest. You're from Jersey. You're just driving along Manhattan. Blink, 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 $23 each way. Now, I don't know if you people have $50, but if I go to the city every single day, I don't have an extra $250. That's $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year just to piss away. And just remember that you can do 2 or 3 times in the city, and you're in trouble. I am tired of that.
Guess what that moral of the story is?
Yeah.
Who's that going to be passed on? To the consumer.
Exactly.
The consumer's going to get passed on to
And
that.
again, you think that all that money is going to the city. Get it out of your head.
No, it's not.
It's going to the state as well. I am very disappointed in that. I'm very disappointed. And the same way with your marijuana. Oh, look who's here, everybody. Our co-host, Devorah, she just showed up to the show. Quickly hook her up a mic and camera. Devorah is here. She's late again today, and she's late for a good reason. You know why? Devorah, tell us why you were late. She's not talking again. Devorah, the radio, you can't shake your head. Put your headset on. But you look so pretty. You know why she's late? She went home to do her makeup. Right,
well,
Devorah?
We can see.
I can see she looks great this week. Devorah is a young girl in her, I'm not allowed to say her age. She threatened to have me killed. She actually called me. She said, Heshy, if you say my age, I'm going to have, and she's a lawyer. So she actually can have me killed.
Heshy. Just enough Heshy there.
Just enough, but she needs a man, and she's looking to get married. Not anybody. Devorah is my special friend. We're looking. Do you have any qualifications? I'll stop. But can you talk into the mic? Then I'll stop. You're not talking to the mic? Okay.
I'm not going.
I'm joking. Devorah, welcome to the show. How are you? You look so pretty.
Thank you.
You're going to talk into the mic?
I'm talking into the mic.
Okay, you were supposed to bring a friend along to the show. No, he didn't show up today? He didn't like us.
He didn't make it.
Okay, Devorah, you mentioned to me on a call. By the way, did you say hello to Tom?
How are you?
Hi, Tom.
Nice to see
We're
you.
talking a bunch of subjects here. So, you missed my joke and quote. It was do you know that this week is my anniversary?
Congratulations. What number?
I've told you 100 times, number 33.
Oh, keto.
Okay, yeah, very good. Anyways, you're going to have to help me buy her a gift. I don't want to spend more than $10. Linda doesn't want me to spend more than $10. That's why I'm buying her 10 lotto tickets. No, 6. I can only buy 6. $5 to get the 3 lotto tickets.
So what's the lucky lotto number the family
I
plays?
just go with quick picks, and Linda's happy. It takes us 15 minutes, Linda,
Not
to
a
check
take
the
5
tickets.
player?
What?
Not a take 5 player?
I don't know. I've seen it, but I don't know how to play Take 5.
Okay.
I'm
Right,
going to have
maybe
to figure that out. Devorah, listen to this, Tom. Devorah said that they quoted me in the Jewish press this week.
Yes, they did.
What did they quote? Can you tell us? Did they write an article about me or just quoted me?
They quoted you.
Well, let's hear about it for our audience.
Go ahead, tell the audience. We have 60,000 listeners and another 30,000 social media people. What is it?
Well, it's what you always tell everybody. You got to know your constitutional rights.
That's it?
Got to know your.
What was the article about?
So it was about the Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce's Real Estate Expo.
Which you were at a couple weeks ago. We spoke about here live on the
You
show.
know who took me there? Devorah, and
Oh.
Devorah paid for the tickets because she knew I was broke. Thank you, Devorah. Linda's been spending a lot of money lately. You know,
Spending your money, actually.
She says it's not my money. She says it's her money or our.
That was like your sister
it's her-
last month on the show was basically complaining how she's spending your money, but she's spending it saying it's her money.
I know that. I never have money. You know, when Friday comes and I'm left with
You
like.
got to give yourself an allowance. You turn it into Al
I
Bundy.
have an
Married with
allowance,
Children,
but people suck it dry. People take it from me, and then I hid myself this week. So I want to buy myself a brand new pair of Rockport shoes. You know what
I know
they are?
Rockport's absolutely.
$118. I put it away.
Wow.
I swear to you, I have it hidden
Okay.
in my pocket. When I went to the wedding Tuesday night, I have it in my pocket. I promise you, and I take out a lot of singles. I like to have singles in my pocket. And I promise you, the guys kept coming and collecting money. And then at the funeral and at the bris, I'm down to $58.
Uh-oh.
There's no way I'm buying those Rockport new shoes. And I'm really looking at them. They're so good and long and beautiful. I'm very upset. I'm going to have to go with Linda, beg her for the credit card.
That's going to be a tough
Yeah,
conversation.
we're over
I
budget.
hope you
And we
do
have
it
the
not
house-
Saturday, Heshy, not on the 33rd
No, but
anniversary.
by the way, it's Saturday, my anniversary, Devorah. You can't shake your head. You have to say yes or no. I know we have the cameras, but okay.
Okay.
You want me to repeat the joke for you?
No.
Okay. I see she never likes my joke. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you believe the fight between Adams and Hochul is real?
I do not personally, and I said why, because it's political calculations. It's basically the old adage of Bill Clinton, Rose Garden politics. And when it comes again to Adams and Hochul, they're coming at it from two stages, but at the end of the day, it's the same premise. And here's why. Because at the end of the day, they've done nothing about not wanting the migrants.
Right.
They're just coming about it. They want the same thing. They're just basically have two different constituencies. Hochul is upstate. Adams is downstate. So basically, they're trying to placate their bases. They have no interest in really fixing the problem. And while I'm talking about that, we have Anthony Finkel trying to call in. So if our producer can try to let him
I
get
don't know
through.
why he doesn't pick up the phone. Why doesn't the producer pick up
if
the
our producer should be out there, he is trying to call in as
And the producer says nobody calls. He does.
646-974-1580. That should be the number.
I want to ask you a question, Devo, a legal question right now, if you don't mind. Trump, okay, I'm talking about Trump now. Trump inflated his net worth, the Attorney General says this. Listen to this, Tom. Big deal, big deal. He lied. Who did he lie to? He's allowed to say, I can say I'm a trillionaire. You don't have to believe me. I can say I'm not married. It's bad. Don't get me wrong.
I hope Will doesn't hear that one.
I am married for 30. I just told you people, I'm married for 33 years. So trust me. I've been chained like a dog. No, but not like a dog. She's very good to me. She's not a good cook. Did I tell you she's not a good cook?
Well, I'm going to plead the fifth on that one, Heshy.
Yeah, well, what's if based on that, he got an investment, based on...
So you're telling me you fill out a credit card form and it tells you how much money you make a year. So I write down a certain amount of money, but really after taxes and after certain expenses, it's not really what I make. I can gross myself at $400,000, but at the end of the day, after expenses and taxes and so on, it's not even $200,000, and it's even less than that with college tuitions and other expenses. You could be going home with nothing after mortgages. So what are you going to really write on your report? You're going to write on your report 100, 200,000, or you're going to write 400. Trump feels that the income that came in is worth, that's his net worth. You're right, after expenses and so on. But he has the opportunity to pull in that cash flow. And even if he said that, big deal. He didn't cheat anybody. He didn't go bankrupt on it. Okay, we're going to take a phone call right now. Let's see who's calling. Hello?
Hello.
How you doing there? I think it's Anthony Finkel there calling in. So how you doing there, my friend? How's
Anthony, how are you, Anthony?
Hey, Heshy, Tom, what a great show. I just wanted to call in. Great show as always, Devoa. We appreciate your commentary.
I see, Anthony, somebody's Anthony, at least somebody's as funny as me. I like that, Anthony. But yeah, comment about Curtis Lewa. Go ahead.
I wanted to make a comment about Curtis Lewa because Curtis has been out here in the field really leading a lot of these protests about bringing these people into these different communities. And then they asked Eric Adams about the protest at Gracie Mansion, and he said, if you look up the definition of buffoon in the dictionary, you would see Curtis Lewa's picture. That really burned me up inside because Curtis is fighting for the people, like everyday people like us. So is Eric calling us all buffoons? Meanwhile, this is his fault because he opened his big mouth and started a fight with Governor Abbott. And now we all have to pay for it.
Exactly
my point. And I just wanted to stand up for Curtis and thank you guys for letting me.
I'm glad you said that because that's what I said about 20 minutes ago, that Eric Adams wanted them in. He said, please come in after Governor Abbott in Texas didn't want it. And on top of that with Curtis, not only is he fighting Adams, he's fighting his own party because we have Republican city council members who've called out Curtis, said all these different things. But what are they doing? They can show up to rallies, these council members, but what are they exactly doing? It's easy for them to go.
Most council members don't even show up.
But even the Republicans, like the two guys in Staten Island who's saying, yeah, I'm against it. They're standing there.
I'm happy that you're finally going against your people there because I've been screaming at my my Brooklyn councilmen. They come up with new stupid regulations that from cameras to taking away your car. You know that I have a lady that came into me that got an idling ticket for $115. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. $350.
I believe it.
Idling ticket. I mean, somebody passed by, took a picture of her car, saw her idling, stopped on the street while the car was running, and she came over to me and says, Heshy, I stopped at the doctor's office on 61st Street. My mother is an old lady. I did not shut off the car. I parked the car by the no standing sign or whatever. Right. I took, because it's front of some kind of a center, I took her out of the car. I put on her walker. I walked her inside. She's an old lady. Until I came back, I sat in the car, and she felt that I should wait a couple minutes. They gave her a $350 ticket. I mean, if the cops saw it, I got it. But you have some regular idiot on the street ratting on us? This is not fair.
Well, it's like months back when you talked about somebody was ratting on you and you were actually taking pictures about something.
Right. In Chambers Street over there.
Yep.
I stopped there I was taking pictures of her, taking pictures of cars, and then she went and took my picture. But she's just.
But back to Curtis, because Anthony's 100% right. Curtis is talking for the average person.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to is Adams is not the average person. Even the Republicans that we have in the city council, they're not for the average person because they're career politicians. Right. Until people wake up and see that even the people that they vote in their own party are career politicians who are just paying lip service because they're worried about staying in office long enough so they can collect a government pension and they get some consulting job, and that's what it comes down to. So the real change is somebody like Curtis who's going out there and speaking the truth, and he's the one that called it about Creedmoor. He's the one that called it about all the situations.
Anthony, who are you voting for? Really, would you vote for? Honest, I like Curtis, and I did a video with him right now, and he's a really cool dude. He's from Canarsie originally.
Yep. East 93rd Street,
would you really vote for Curtis for mayor? Anthony, I think he hung up.
Point is, though, is that
what do you think? You think Anthony would vote for Curtis?
I think he would definitely vote for Curtis. I think that.
Well, I hope people do it. You know that, by the way, everybody, Devoa came up with a beautiful idea. She says politicians and civil rights group rally for council bill requiring NYPD to document all street stops. What does that mean? Tell me what that means, Devoa. What do you want them to do? What do they want to document? Not you.
They want to document anytime somebody stopped. They've got to write up all, documents of what they did and when.
But don't they do that on a regular ticket that we stopped him due to speeding, or we stopped him due to drugs, or we stopped him because we're lying and he went 3 miles over the limit, you know what I mean? We stopped him from holding his telephone.
And Anthony, by the way, is back on the chat, says he will vote for Curtis again.
Okay,
that's what he wants to put that out there.
But you know what I found out from what I understand is when a cop pulls you over, ladies and gentlemen. Let me teach you another thing from the Constitution. Even though people are telling you they can go into your house and so on, the Constitution says when the cop pulls you over and he says, "Do you know what you were doing?" You're going to tell him, "Yeah, I knew what I was." Don't tell him I didn't know or why you pulled me over. I know exactly how fast I was going, and don't tell him I was going within the speed limit. That's what you tell him. Don't you dare tell him that you were going too fast. Let him tell it to you. Once you tell him something, he gives you evidence. Let's pick up another caller. Finally, we got another caller. Who's calling?
Who else you think? Come on.
Lenny, how are you, Lenny?
I was thinking Kalman was going to call.
I thought you mean Kalman Yeager.
Yeah, Kalman Yeager.
Or maybe Ina Vernikova. I know that.
No chance on that one.
Lenny, bottom line is, Lenny, you and I are two stupid people. If we went, we can bill for the migrants, you and me, really. If we were smart, put together, and we are smart, we know the city, we know the places, we know the landlords. You have a very good friend that's a big-time landlord. We can just take these, it takes 1,000 apartments, that's 8,000. Let me give you a number, Lenny, before you go ahead. If we get 1,000 units, and remember, there's over 1 million units in New York City, okay, and there's about, to what I understand, a little over 100,000 vacant units. And who knows how many New York City Housing Authority that we fixed up. Today alone, I was in a building that was empty for 5 years, had 69 units because the people didn't have the money. And I'm going to tell these guys, you idiots, fix up the building, you can pull out a fortune. But if you have 1,000 units, you can bill out $14 million and eight people in a unit. 8 people in a unit is only 2 bedrooms, 2, 4, or 3 bedrooms. And if you feed them the same 1,000 or 8,000 people, you can make an additional $20 million. So, Lenny, I don't know what we're in the wrong business. So let's just say we take 100 apartments. 100 apartments. Lenny, 1 minute, Lenny, 100 apartments, we can build $3 million out. And by the way, with the city's triple net lease, they pay the taxes, the water, everything. It costs us nothing, no expenses, only our income tax at the end of the year. So, I don't understand, Lenny. Are we just dumb, or why aren't we taking advantage of it? Because we know it's screwing the rest of our families.
You know, if Adams calls Sliwa a buffoon, if Sliwa would have called Adams a buffoon, Adams would associate buffoon with monkey, and it would have been racist, okay? As far as what's going on
Curtis Lewa is the least racist person that I know.
Yeah, no. As far as what's going out here in Staten Island and even the demonstration in Manhattan, Scott Lebedo, very good friend of mine. I've been with him for a year now about, I was with him at the protest in Staten Island. What do you call it? The Antifa showed up Sunday. The police stopped letting people into the area of Gracie Mansion. And you know what what I noticed was Sunday around Gracie Mansion, they must have called a level 1 or a level 2 mobilization, where they have every precinct send police cars. Okay, in Staten Island, with Antifa coming, they just had a little detail that was ever there. A couple of them approached the demonstrators in Staten Island on Landis Avenue.
Yep.
It wasn't good for them. I'll put it that way. We're not going to put up for it.
Yeah, I saw it on
like I
Instagram.
said,
It was huge.
Yeah, I saw, but and I'm going to tell you why I know that it's a game. I was called not to come to Sunday's event. They said, we're going to arrest somebody, Heshy. We don't want you there. You don't need the trouble. They actually told me, do not come Sunday. I said, I'm going anyways. I just, a couple of people that I know in the police department says, Heshy, why go? Why do you need the trouble?
Yeah, he asked me.
Right.
He says, "Did you tell Heshy?" I says, "I said."
I was on my way to go Sunday. I was on my way to go, and I was told.
We do it peaceful.
And they said they told me, but it wasn't peaceful at the end because they knew that there was going to be some other people. That, and look, there was only a few Antifa people, and still there was a fight.
The irony part was they were all wearing masks.
Right.
All wearing masks.
All wearing
masks. And people
masks.
want to go back to mask mandates. So what? So Antifa
You know why they were wearing?
People?
You know why they were wearing masks to hide their
Because
faces.
they're there to cause trouble.
Right.
But you know what? One of them passed my car because my car was on Landis, and I was, Scott had some his water in my car, his cigarettes, because
Right.
I was right there. And what happened? One of them passed my car, and they were followed up the street. And he got a little bit of a slap down. He pulls down his pants. He's got the American flag on his underwear, and he's saying what America could do to his private parts. Punched an old man, and that's when one of the guys in the crowd slapped him on his face. His phone went out of his hand, and they threw it over the fence.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy. We're not going to take it in Staten Island.
Well, you know
Between
what?
The Italians and the Albanians.
I
it
want.
ain't gonna happen.
I want to switch focus right now. We only have a couple of minutes, like another 3 minutes left for our audience, the radio show audience.
93.5,
and I want to ask you a question, and all of you. You know the Republican debate this last Wednesday during our show.
Yes.
I watched a lot of the clips on it, and the only one, and DeSantis did not impress me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's trying to get a dead cat bounce.
So
as they
right
would
now,
call it.
what I found out today, the mayor of Miami who's running, I didn't even know that.
And he only got into the race 2.5 months
Right,
ago.
Mayor Francis Suarez. I mean, come on, we never even heard of this guy. He finally drops out of the Republic. He's the first one to drop out. They're saying that DeSantis is very close to dropping out as well.
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Okay, but the only person that I like, but I want to ask you a question, Lenny. The one last question. There was a guy on the show called Vivek Ramasamy. Did I say that correct?
Oh, yeah, the young kid.
He's not a young kid. He's 40 years old. He spoke beautifully, eloquently. They're saying he copied stuff from other people, but he was to the point. And when he got up and he says, the best president of the 21st century was Trump, he admitted it. He admitted that he's running for president, but we all know that he wants...
Did you notice when the question was asked to all the candidates if Trump was the nominee, if they would vote for? And the Piggly Wiggly Christie...
Oh, I was about to say that, yep.
The Piggly Wiggly.
And he put him in his place. Vivek Ramasamy had said, listen to me, you're just making a big show of it. And Christie took up a lot of time. But this Vivek was to the point. He said straight out Trump was the best. He said straight out that he doesn't want, he wants borders up there. Straight out that he's going to cut funding for Ukraine. Boom, 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 boom.
Did I tell you last week what the New York Times reporter told to me in regards to Trump? Her best shot was he's against climate control. That's all you got, you idiot? That's all you got, you moron?
They got nothing, Len. You know it. I know it. Heshy knows it. Even Devora knows it. They got nothing.
And then the female reporter from the Post who turned the whole story around in Sunday's edition about the migrants and stuff like that. She was chased off the block Monday night because of the lying story that she...
Lenny, 1 second.
They even tried to say that...
Lenny, we have only 30 seconds, and I want to ask the producer, please don't forget to put up the HeshyTishler.com website, and can you maybe put the camera on Devorah? I want everybody to see what Devorah looks like. Wait a minute, why can't you be on the camera? I mean, we have a camera here. We want people to look what you look like. You're not talking, so let the camera at least go on you. Hello, producer, can you at least put up the... No, he's not going to do it. They do whatever they want. They want to talk into the show, but they don't want to do what we asked them.
Check on our screen. I put it on our YouTube. HeshyTishler.com is our website. I put it down for you.
Yeah, but that's not enough. I wanted to... they're showing Devorah finally. Look how pretty she looks on camera. She looks great. We actually have a camera. Can you put the HeshyTishler.com? Don't forget, everybody. We lost our listenership.
Goodbye
from
to 620.
Goodbye, all the people from 620.
Yep.
It was great to listen to you guys. I hope you enjoyed listening to us. Lenny, I'm going to let you go, but Lenny, comment. Do you think who do you think Trump would take for vice president? He's going to have to pick somebody soon, right? Or he doesn't have to pick anybody?
Not yet.
I would have liked to have seen him pick DeSantis as a vice president.
That's
and
Alva.
You want to know the best part? A lot of people are talking about. I don't know if Tom will agree with this.
Talk to me.
Kennedy.
Yeah, I mean,
I love that. I love that idea, but Kennedy can't do that.
Anthony Finkel, though, just wants to say one thing.
That would be historic. A Republican with a Democrat. That would be. But wouldn't Kennedy have to switch parties, or he can really be a vice president even as a Democrat? What do you think, Devorah?
Isn't this America? We can do whatever we want.
No, I don't think he has to change parties.
Right, because you don't vote for the vice president. Right? I get.
We have a comment that says RFK can't be VP. That we have actually,
Why?
I guess we'll find out. No, yeah, we'll find out. And then also, real quick, Anthony Finkel says he's got doubts about Vivtek because he was a lifelong Democrat, big pharma guy, voted for Hillary, but now he's a MAGA conservative.
Okay, but Trump was also a big-time Democrat, so he supported Schumer, he supported Clinton's, and again, when you find out that your people are idiots, you switch. Bloomberg was a lifelong Democrat.
Heshy, here's a question. Heshy, here's a legitimate question. Where's Schumer with the immigrants?
I think everybody's been asking. I think Nicole's been asking about that in Staten Island for weeks.
Where is Mr. Schumer by Prospect Park that he lives?
So I'll tell you where Schumer is. A lot of Schumer's friends, and I'm embarrassed to say, are big time real estate people.
Yep.
And they are making not thousands, millions and millions of dollars. And somebody's going to be a billionaire from the migrants, and he is not going to open his mouth because he's going to lose. Schumer now knows that he needs the money. He's not going to spend any of his own. You know what I found out? That when a senator gets elected, he has to start immediately collecting an average of $15,000 a day through his term to get reelected. Now, he doesn't have to collect $15,000 a day. He can collect $1 million in an event. But it comes out to be an average that these guys have to collect $15,000 a day from day one till reelection day. Wow.
It's about $5.5 million a year.
And the Constitution of the United States, was that included that they needed all this money to run for election? I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting.
We even have campaign finance board. If somebody wants to get you, they rat on you. I have, the 311 calls. I have a guy building his house, and every day somebody, we know who it is, some guy on the block who wants to try to steal the house. We think he works for the Department of Buildings. We think he's Chinese. We think we know exactly where he lives. Every day he calls, and he calls in beautiful, perfect, professional calls. So we went to the Department of Buildings Commission, and we said, look, these are one of your own people trying to get us in trouble on the block. He's trying to steal the house. He knows the game that if we mess up, you can get us. So supposedly this guy found out, because now they're calling in, I still say 3 or 4 complaints a day, and the building department comes, and the complaints are like badly worded, identically, but like saying they coming, they watching, instead of, he's using some kind of immigrant term, like he's taking it out of tech, but he's actually still describing it as a professional. This is what we do. You make false complaints, the city comes down, the police come down, that's their thing.
And I know we've got about less than 60 seconds real quick, so Anthony Finkel wants to say he feels bad for DeSantis. He feels like, because he's down in Florida part-time, he says that right now in Florida, DeSantis is so unpopular, he may not get reelected if he wants to.
Why is he
unpopular? He says he's doing it all to himself.
I heard that.
You know?
Why? What's he doing?
It's what he's not doing. He's run a terrible campaign for president, pretty much, and people see he doesn't have the personality, and personality is key. And as we go off the air, I think that's the biggest point. And obviously, we want to thank everybody that's tuned in here.
I want to thank you all for tuning into the show.
Thank you, Lenny. Thank you,
you
Anthony
have been so informative.
Devorah, you're bringing us
You're
the
the
radio.
best.
Thank you.
Tell
Thank
everybody, Devorah, happy. And can you tell Linda happy anniversary?
Happy anniversary.
Where's that producer guy in that room there?
HeshyTishler.com. Follow me. I'm on
Heshy,
Instagram.
how come they didn't put the Heshy? How come they didn't put
YouTube at SportsWire
How
Radio.
come they didn't put HeshyTishler.com on the website? I mean, whatever.
Well,
producers.
as we're going off the air, play that music for us.
Play that music, everybody. Yes.
Have a great Labor Day, everybody.
Yeah,
Enjoy the
Labor Day.
weekend. Be
Happy.
safe.
Yes.